around you will absolutely astound you. So how many of you will start adhering to the 1% improvement doctrine? Fantastic, my job here is done. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I figured I have a couple more minutes.
Do you have a website or
Yes.
how we can get in touch with you or
Yeah.
work with you?
Yeah, it's exponentialprograms.com. Nick's got some brochures that he can give you to contact me if you're interested to work with me. I'd be happy to.
Oh, I'm a challenge.
You're a challenge? You know what, I love challenges, and the fact that you know you're a challenge, that's great. Some people don't know that they're a challenge, and that's more problematic. But what kind of questions do you have based on 1% improvement doctrine or public speaking in general or achieving goals?
How do you know what 1% is?
That's a very good question. 1% is anything that you do better today than you did yesterday. So anything that you do better today than you did yesterday. For example, what's one thing that you know you can improve on your presentation? Just one thing that you know already.
Well, I'm going to listen to the recording and I'm going to.
No, but before you even do that, what's one thing that you know you're going to improve?
In speaking.
Yeah, in the presentation you just did, that you already know you're going to fix.
I'm not sure what you mean. We're just listening to the laughter that came from
Yeah.
everybody?
Yeah, what would you change? If you were to do it again, what would you change?
A couple of the lines that I gave that I thought would be funny that weren't.
Exactly. So that's a 1% improvement. It's easy to understand. Now, how you do that is if you watch yourself back, which is kind of bad grammar, but if you watch yourself back, you're going to see things that you otherwise wouldn't have recognized.
Right.
But the key here is when you start, it's very easy. Today you improve 1%, tomorrow. What happens though is people run out of the 1% to improve. That's what I teach, by the way, but what you need to be doing is you need to be constantly searching for things that you can improve. What other questions do you have?
What were the 5 degrees you decided to go for?
The first one was an engineering degree. The second was an MBA. The third was a PhD in e-commerce. The fourth one was a postgraduate law degree in taxation, and the fifth one was corporate governance.
What's your IQ?
See, I don't know what my IQ is, but I teach students to get the best grades with the least amount of effort, because even though I'm academically skilled, it's not a question of IQ, it's a question of each person has a way of learning, and if each person uses their way of learning, anybody can get straight A's or a 4.0 GPA. The problem people have, well, first of all, who here was good in school? Put your hands up just so I can see. Okay, who was
Can I go?
Yeah, that's bad in school. Yeah, so
No, I mean, I got 4.0 at Pepperdine, but
Well, then- who would agree that that's good in school? Yeah, who would all like to have 4.0 at Pepperdine, right?
Because my 2 years of college, I got C minuses.
Oh.
But isn't Pepperdine a college?
It's a university. It's
Well, university, yeah. So you went to college and university?
Well, 2-year college, then Pepperdine. 2
Oh,
years.
okay, so you did college and then, so junior college and then university. So you got C's in junior college and then you got straight A's Pepperdine. So you're a good student. But those, who here has struggled? Yeah, do you know why you struggled?
I'm a slow reader.
Yeah, that's one reason.
Because
And that would slow you down. I teach speed reading, by the way, but
I didn't place it as an importance.
yeah. But chances are you're probably kinesthetic. Do you work with your hands?
Yes.
Yeah, do you need someone to show you how to do it rather than tell you?
Exactly.
No.
I find it myself.
Yeah, exactly. In other words, you have to do it yourself. Yeah, that's called a kinesthetic. So whenever anybody tells me that they have a student or a child that has problems in school, I can tell you without a doubt they're kinesthetic. A kinesthetic person needs to touch and feel everything. An auditory needs to hear it, and a visual just needs to see it. Did you have trouble in school?
Me?
Yeah.
No, it's just that I focused way too much time because I literally am a slow reader.
I understand. Because chances are you're auditory. So you just listen and you hear everything. Am I right? Or do you need to see it?
It's a combination.
No, it's one or the other. Pick one. Quick, pick
Okay,
one.
auditory.
Yeah. Right. So what happens is, the reason she's a slow reader, anybody know why? Because she needs to hear it. And if she needs to hear it, she needs to say it in her mind. And when I teach speed reading, you have to stop hearing it in your mind and actually seeing the words in your head so that you can go beyond the speaking 400 words a minute. Because if I talk really, really fast like this is about 400 words a minute. And at 400 words a minute, it's a lot, but you can still listen to every single word I say at 400 words a minute. But faster than this, I'll start tripping on my words and I'll get to 500 or 600 words a minute, and you'll still be able to follow because you can actually think at 1,000 words a minute. But if you're only reading at 250, because you're reading at this speed, what happens is you're reading at half the speed that you could, and if you get to 1,000 words a minute, that's 4 times faster than the average person.
What do you do if somebody's dyslexic?
Yeah, that's the thing about dyslexic. Who here likes labels? Yeah, I don't like labels either.
I don't like either.
So I understand dyslexia, and I understand, people have labels, but dyslexia being what it is, it's tripping over words. And if you trip over words, you trip over them for multiple reasons. If you go really quickly, you stop tripping. So one of the things, if you want to write this down, it's called, it'll come to me. Just type in Firefox, Riverside, that's what it's called, I had to say it. Riverside, R-E-A-S-Y. It's a plugin for Firefox, the browser. What it will do is it will take any text, and it'll take a whole document, and it'll take words, and it'll flash them in one place. So literally in one place on the screen, so you don't have to go left to right, but you just read them, and they just flash really quick, up to 1,000 words a minute. And for dyslexics, because the eyes don't move, the words go straight into your brain, and therefore you don't trip over words, and that helps dyslexics read exceptionally fast.
Wow.
And it's a free plugin, by the way, so there's no, it's like that, it's an app. So 1% improvement, to bring this back to 1% improvement. If you know how you learn, what you can do is you can start learning how you learn, and every day get to the point where you can become a super learner. Since I last saw Nick in May, I've read about 30 books, and I saw him in May this year. I read about 75 to 80 books in a year, because I speed read.
Do you do speed reader? What is the other fast?
Photo reading. Yeah, I don't believe in photo reading. I don't know anybody who can photo read. I can't photo read.
I tried, couldn't
What
do it.
is photo reading?
Photo reading is you basically take a book,
You go like this and
and
just go
you
down
basically
the page.
click, 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 click. Very few people can photo read. But 1% improvement, getting back against to the principle of 1% improvement, 1% is not about going from 0 to 100 instantly. It's about going from 1 to 2 to 3, then you get to 100, 101, 102, 305, 306, 1% at a time. My success, and I've been very successful in anything that I do, and I remember telling my mother that. She goes, we were talking a couple of years ago, I was there for one of my around the world trips, and she said something, and I said, but Mom, you know me, I'm good at everything that I choose to be good at. And she goes, well, I'm glad to see you're humble. And I said, no, seriously. I said, do you know me to do anything I'm not good at? And I said, seriously, put aside all the jokes. I said, seriously, I'm good at everything that I do. And the reason is not because I'm good. It's because what I do, everything that I do, 1% at a time, I improve every single day. Because it's easy. So if I do 1% every single day, I get outstanding results. Why would I do anything else? Who gets where I'm coming from? But the thing is, the only reason other people don't do it is, one, they don't know the power of leverage, and second, they don't fully understand that the increase in frequency gives you an exponential result. That's 22 times rather than 7 times the frequency. If everybody understood that, you'd have more people adhere to this. But there's this other thing, and I'll leave you with this. And you want to write this down. Hyperbolic discounting. So hyperbolic discounting is an academic term. And what it basically means is, we all know we're going to die one day. But let's say, for example, I use an example from someone who smokes. And a statistic is every cigarette you smoke will take 1 minute away from your life. Why do people still smoke if they know that? It's because the last minute of their life is 30, 40, 50, 20, 30 years from now. Who gets this? Now, if that minute was right now, they would stop smoking. But because it's in the future, they discount it in the future. Who gets what I'm talking about? That's called hyperbolic discounting. So there's a disproportionate putting off in the future, and therefore people do things that are actually to their detriment because they say, I'll worry about it later. And when later comes, it's too late. And how do you know this? Who here has young kids? Anybody here have young kids? Yeah? Under 5 or 6 years of age?
My granddaughter.
Granddaughter, perfect. Granddaughter? You're a grandfather? Come on, mate, you gotta be kidding me. With no disrespect, how old are you?
46.
My God, you're over 46. That's freaking awesome. Is freaking the word here? You know what that means? Oh, that is awesome. You look fantastic for 46. I never would have given you 46. So if you have a young kid, it's called the marshmallow test. And the marshmallow test is they sit a child down and say, here's a marshmallow. Now I'm gonna leave the room for a couple minutes, but if I come back and the marshmallow's still here, I'll give you 2 marshmallows. But if I come back and the marshmallow's gone, you don't get any more because you've eaten the marshmallow. What do you think the percentage is of kids that are under 4 or 5 years of age that can resist the marshmallow, assuming they like marshmallows?
Very few.
1%?
What's that?
1%?
No, it's about 80% that cannot resist it. There's only about 20% of the kids who will sit there and go, wow, that's great, but there's a second one coming and they sit there and wait. Which kid do you think I was? Yeah,
20%.
yeah,
You were the 20%
Yeah.
of the weighted.
yeah. Now, if you're not that predisposed, it doesn't mean that you're stuck for life. What it means now, you have to be conditioned to wait. Because honestly, if you don't have that predisposition, why would you ever get a university degree? Makes no sense, especially in this country where you have to pay a high fee to go to university. And then when you get the payoff, you have hundreds of thousands of debts, you get the payoff over decades of working. And it does pay if you get a good job. But the discounting, if you understand that, you have to rationalize and say, this is worth it, and it is. I have 5 university degrees, so I'm biased. So on that note, has this been useful to you?
Yes.
Fantastic. Well, it was absolutely great to be here. I want to thank Nick for inviting me. I had a fantastic time. And if anybody has any questions after this session, I'd be more than happy to answer questions.